Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day today. And y'all know that I love my crepe myrtles. I've got a couple of patio crepe myrtles right here on the end of the driveway. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 really big notches on the other side of the house. And you know I'm anal about the whole crepe rape thing, crepe murder, that kind of thing. The crepe myrtle is a tree. It's no different than a big old oak tree, right? No different than a big old maple tree. But what happens is you see folks come in here and just butcher them. They will cut them back to nubs. They'll cut them back to heavy stems. It just leaves nothing but a big pile of sticks sticking up out of the ground, right? I have no idea where all that originated. Don't know who started it. Don't know why it started. With my crepe myrtles, I don't manage them that way because horticulturally speaking, I just don't feel like it's the right way. So today I'm going to show you how I take care of mine. And while we're at it, I got some really hard to control weeds over here in my beds. And I'll show you how I do that too. Now I'm doing a little weed control here too, and you can see these weeds are in my plant. Okay, I've got the cephalotaxis here, my variegated liripe here, and I can't necessarily come in here and spray some weed killer over top of this because it's going to get on the plant and damage the plant. Now the other option I have is to come in here with my pruners and cut this stuff out, or I can come in here with some thick gloves and pull this stuff out. It's some type of a thistle type plant, briar. It comes up in my beds every year, and it's very thorny, prickly, and honestly I don't like dealing with it with my hands because I've done that in the past and I end up picking splinters out of my hand for a week. And I've noticed if I cut them out, they always rejuvenate and they just come back even harder and stronger without actually getting rid of the root and physically removing it by hand and digging it out. And of course I do have a very good friend that lives in this area, and he's about 5 foot long. He's about that big around, and he's black. And I honestly don't want to just stick my hands down in this bush without knowing exactly where my buddy is at. So I've been using these little foamers for a long time in my business, and basically it's your weed killer. It's like a kills all. It's going to kill anything it comes in contact with. I can come in here and put just a little bit of foam right on each individual leaf, even get a little bit on the stem if you can, and literally that's all it takes. Is about those 3 or 4 little dabs on each plant, and that's a done deal. And you can see this little bit of wind that's blowing, and it's not affecting the application in no way, shape, or form, simply because it's a foam and there is no drift. So a couple of weeks ago I had some coming up in this area over here. On about day number 4 is when I really started noticing some wilt. Then around day number 10, they were really starting to look bad. And here we are at about the 2-week time frame, and you can see these bad boys are toast. Here's the one on my retaining wall coming out from under the Japanese maple, and you can see how bad it looks. So I think the first thing and the most important thing is if you want to plant a crepe myrtle, plant it in the correct space, meaning give it some room to grow, okay? When we get around here to the other side of the house, you're gonna see that my crepe myrtles are well away from the home. That way they're not invasive to my home. So wintertime care is basically nothing. I really don't touch them in the wintertime unless I see some really big branches crossing and touching and rubbing and that kind of thing, and I'll remove one of those branches. But other than that, wintertime care is little to nothing. Yes, you see people cut the spent blooms off in the wintertime. I don't even do that. Now, one of the cool things about a crepe myrtle is they bloom, and they bloom heavily. They bloom a lot. And you can see this tree has began to droop and sag a little bit simply due to the heavy blooms on it. Now, I have seen crepe myrtles bloom so profusely before that I actually bend over and snap one of the limbs. So that's one of the reasons I prune them around late July. And then the other reason is just to give it a better aesthetic appeal, meaning a better shape to the tree. You can just see it's kind of all hangy and blah. So let's fix that up. Sharp pruners are an absolute must whenever you're pruning. These are the easy cut kamikazes, and I've got a really strong coupon code for these or anything else on their website. I'll link it up in the description below. You can check it out if you're interested. But basically, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna start on the outside edge. I'm just gonna do some little light nipping and cut some of these heavier blooms off. I'm not doing anything major here, just some real light pruning work. And yeah, I'm losing a few of my blooms here, but I want the tree to have a really nice overall shape. Now you can see how this is kind of evened the canopy up a little bit. Now I'm gonna get up under the tree and do a little work. Basically anything I see that's dead or damaged, I'm cutting it out. And I'm just kind of cleaning up this overall area. Any little, volunteers or anything like that, I'm just kind of taking them out to open the tree up, air it out just a little bit. And the only reason I really do that is so the tree just doesn't get overly thick. It's got a little air to breathe there, and it's just kind of gives it a little open look to it. I kind of prefer that look. And you can see here's one of my big ones right here at the front corner of the house. And yeah, it might be a little overwhelming to a lot of folks, but again, it's simple maintenance. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come through here and just clean up the bottom and kind of even it up a little bit all the way around the bottom of the tree. And then the rest of it up here, I'm just not gonna do anything to it. And you can see even the biggest crepe myrtles, you can still clean them up a little bit, even up that canopy and make them look a whole lot better. And crepe myrtles are really bad about getting these little suckers all around them. So periodically I come through and just clean them up. And that way it exposes the base of the trunk like it should be. And there you go, nice and clean. So these cleaned up real nice too. I just want to say this, one of the tricks to doing this, you're not necessarily doing super heavy pruning. Okay, we're just kind of touching it up a little bit. So a lot of times, less is more. And you can see what I mean by that is I just pruned the two at my driveway, pruned the really big one in the front, and then these three right here, pretty good size too, and I only have one trash can full of debris to haul off. So hey, I hope that helps you out a little bit with controlling some difficult weeds inside your landscape that may be too close to the plant to spray with, a backpack spray and you're worried about drift, or if the plant's kind of gnarly, kind of like those things I got over here in mine, and you really don't want to mess with them, with your hands, that foamer is an exceptional alternative to the traditional way. You can also use that thing in your turf, okay? If you got some super hard to control grasses and you just have one here and one there, it's a real good option for that as well. And of course, I hope that helped you with your crepe myrtles. I know I get a lot of comments and some emails about, hey, what do you do to your crepe myrtles? They look good in the videos. So I've showed you that, and it's really simple. I don't do a whole lot to them, just to be honest with you. Keep them cleaned up in the summer, keep the suckers off the bottom, keep them kind of leveled up, and then other than that, I let them go. And in the winter time, if I've got large branches crossing, I cut those out, and that's pretty much it. So as always, appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch. Be sure and like, subscribe, and share, and tell all your buddies, and I'll check you later.